Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks, the lead beat writer for Arizona State Sun Devils on SI, and I am so grateful to be joining you on this beautiful Thursday, almost afternoon. And we are now just 2 days out from Arizona State's massive third foray into Big 12 play in the 2025 season against the Utah Utes. Obviously, this is a road game in Salt Lake City. We've been through this drill before. There is a high potential for inclement weather during the course of the game. Utah has a 90% win rate at home in night games since joining the Pac-12, I believe. And Kyle Whittingham has just built, cultivated, and kept a program that was on the rise when he took over. He's really expanded it to new heights that nobody thought were possible as a one-time member of the Mountain West Conference all the way up to the Big 12 now. And Utah has become something of a rival to Arizona State over the last several seasons after all the intense battles that they've had. Remember the 2014 game, Arizona State won 19-16. That kept their Pac-12 South title hopes alive and possibly even a spot in the college football playoff. 2021, Utah came storming back down 21-7 at halftime, 28 unanswered points in the second half to win 35-21, and that was really one of the first examples of cracks showing in the Herm Edwards era before he was fired less than a year later. Have been so many great battles. Last season, Arizona State won 27-19. That really jump-started their playoff hopes after falling to Texas Tech a few weeks prior. Arizona State and Utah have really built up something of a rivalry, and they are both currently gunning to take the top spot in the Big 12 hierarchy moving forward. And this game is really going to be a litmus test surrounding that. And I am so grateful to be covering that game. 7:15 kickoff, at least Arizona time, Pacific time, however you want to chop it up. But it's going to be a great battle, and I am so thrilled to be covering it. And since we're just 2 days out, I'm going to do a little more previewing about the game, specifically through the lens of the offense, talking about what Sam Leavitt can do to find success earlier in the game, talking about some of the targets that he could utilize within the offense that Marcus Arroyo can scheme open to create key plays in the game, because I've said, in my personal opinion, I believe that's going to be much more of a trenches-based field position battle than a shootout, because Utah and Arizona State both have potential to put lots of points on the board with the way their offenses operate, with the tempo that they use, and all of that in between stuff. But I think it's going to be a 20-17 type of game, and that is the kind of game that Sam Leavitt really has proven that he can take over in, especially late in games. He led Arizona State on game-winning drives against both Baylor and TCU. Admittedly, the TCU game, he didn't have to really drive too much, but he put them in position to have the chance to go up with the Jesus Gomez field goal. They were down 17-0. He orchestrated 2 scoring drives before halftime and 2 scoring drives after halftime to tie up the game. And that is incredibly impressive, especially with the struggles that he's encountered this season so far. I kind of wanted to talk about things that he can do to get more comfortable early in games. And like Kenny Dillingham has said, like Marcus Arroyo has said, the onus is on them to get Sam comfortable early on in games. It's just on them more than anything else. And what can they do? So first thing, run the ball, utilize Malik Brown in any means that you can, including in the dump-off game, in the short passing game, in the screen game. Just utilize Malik Brown. Let him do everything that he does in space with his explosiveness, with his strength, with his carrier vision. just utilize Malik Brown, make it easier for Sam to convert play action plays or even shot plays early in the game to set the tone. Uh, give Sam the option to take the check down, to take the short route, especially with Jalen Moss back. That's going to be a major, major factor, I believe. Jalen Moss out of the slot, he's as reliable as anybody in the Big 12 at securing contested catches, at gaining yards after catch, at just being a security blanket, breaking down zones in the short intermediate game. Jalen Moss is going to be massive, so I think that Sam Leavitt needs to target Moss early and often, maybe not as often as Jordan Tyson, but he might be the perfect secondary option. As for Leavitt specifically, I think that he has gotten much, much better as the season has gone on in terms of footwork and staying settled in the pocket and structure. Kenny Dillingham said that as well. He believes that it's a night and day difference, and I agree with that. I think that that's going to be very necessary in this game, especially against the Utah pass rush in front seven that's as physical, as well timed, as anticipatory as anybody that Arizona State's going to face this season, maybe outside of Texas Tech. I think that he's going to need to be great in structure. I think once structure breaks down, he can make plays. We all know that he has a natural playmaking ability that lends itself to yielding successful plays when he runs out of the pocket, when he breaks structure, when structure breaks just naturally. I would never say don't trust Sam Leavitt in those situations, but in this matchup, particularly against a well-oiled Utah defensive machine, led by well-prepared Kyle Whittingham and his defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley, I think that Leavitt needs to hit those tight window throws that he's been improving on by the week. I think that he's going to need to hit a couple of shots. With that in mind, Jaron Hamilton is a name that really comes to mind there. That 44-yard catch he secured was a perfect storm of events that happened that led to that. And I don't want to harp on it too much, but I called that Hamilton shot before it happened. I knew that he was going to run a quarter route. It was going to be across the field. And 44-yard catch that led to a Jesus Gomez game-tying field goal in the third quarter. Jaron Hamilton has the potential to make one of those plays once again this week, even in inclement weather conditions. That's another target that Sam Leavitt needs to really stress looking at. And that's not even mentioning a Malik McClain who came up with a 15-yard catch on third down right before that Jaron Hamilton shot. That's without mentioning Cameron Harple, who came up with two big catches in the TCU game. Shimon Mateer, he's probably going to be a major factor in the game plan as well, as he is a very, very reliable red zone target, underneath game target, just like Jalen Moss. Derek Eusebio, he didn't make much of an impact in the TCU game, but boy did he make an impact in the Baylor game with three or so of the biggest plays of the game coming on his hands. And Jordan Tyson, at the end of the day, when you have a 17-17 game, like I think it's going to be in the fourth quarter, 17-17, 24-24, whatever it is, like Kenny Dillingham said, you need to lean on your star players for the most part, and that Leavitt to Tyson connection is absolutely incredible. That is probably the best tandem in all of college football, certainly in the Big 12, and they really need to use that when it comes down to it. Crunch time, everything on the line. Jordan Tyson has to be the predicate focus, and I do believe that Arizona State is going to squeak out a win, but you have to involve others not named Tyson, even if it's just in spot plays. Other guys need to make plays. Tyson needs to step up as he has every single time he's been called upon in big-time moments. And Sam Leavitt just needs to let the game come naturally to him, operate from the pocket and in structure as much as he can, and play mistake-free football. And if they do that, Arizona State, I believe, is going to win because I think the defense is going to take care of business when called upon in big moments, high leverage moments, like they always have, or not always for the like they have for the most part over the last year or so. And that is really all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Thursday. And it will be Friday by the time this comes out. And I will have a preview of the game recorded tomorrow to get out on game day. So thank you for your continued support, and I will see you tomorrow with the preview.